Alright, welcome to the vlog, guys. Before I actually start, I just want to explain that this happened about 2 months ago, so I finally had the chance to finish up the vlog for what happened to the FD as far as its whole like RPM fluctuation issue. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and play the video, and at the very end discuss some updates that are going on both with the FD, FC, and the ND. So hope you guys enjoy. What's going on, everybody? Today is kind of a sad day. No, my motor did not blow, but she's kind of not doing well right now. So again, I'm pretty sure the motor did not blow. The issue that's happening is pretty much I was driving on the road and all of a sudden my car was cutting out. So what I mean by that is idling will be fine. It sounds healthy, everything, it braps. And then when I get to 2.8 to 3K RPM, that's when this car just it like doesn't want to rev higher. Then I'll let off the throttle, you know, it'll idle fine again, and then if I rev freely, it'll go all the way to like 6-7K, like easy. Then I let off the throttle again, idle's fine, and it'll have the same issue, go to 3K. So I know for sure that the fuel pump is fine, and that's my switch right there. So whenever I switch that on, when the battery's connected, I'll hear the fuel pump in the back go on, so that's fine. I think fuel pressure is good as well. The only unfortunate thing is that I do have a stock fuel system, so I don't have a gauge to really read what PSI the pressure is reading at for fuel. But that's pretty much the issue that's going on now. So I have a couple speculations what it could be. Either my coil packs, because they are stock FD coil packs, probably are going bad or going old. That's possibly one issue. Or the spark plugs are not fully seated, like maybe it kind of came out or something. I don't really think that's what it is, but that's also a very possible issue. Third speculation is there's a bad ground somewhere, but the thing is, if it was a bad ground, my car would kind of freak out electrically as well, which it doesn't do that. So it's only a RPM. So I have a feeling it's either... Oh, and actually the last thing, the secondary injectors possibly could get stuck. So according to DK, I just got off the phone with him now, that the injectors are getting stuck momentarily. So yeah, pretty unfortunate what happened, and it of course has to be on a 7's day. So I was supposed to go on a cruise with a few friends. I might still do it with the Miata now, but I was supposed to go with the FD, of course, and just have a fun time with everybody. But we'll see, guys. I will keep you guys updated on what's going on. Alright, compression test time.
Hey?
Yep, see what you guys think. Oh, not bad. Time for rotor number 2. Let's go. Nice.
Good?
Good. Oh, heck yeah. That's what I like to see.
Thank God.
Alright guys, well that's the update on the FD. So it's all good now with the IGN winning kit from Socket Bomb. It looks really clean. The placement of where it is, access to the coil packs, and like the cables itself is so much better than the OEM location of where it was underneath the manifold, which was really hard to get and stuff, and I'm just glad I was able to take that out. AC also as well has been deleted, and the reason because of that is because I just don't ever use even like the fans in the FD, because I always have like the windows down. A lot of people I know are gonna hate me for that. It just, you know, I know it's a personal preference, but it's more of just like, you know, I'm trying to get the car more of like a show style, and like I already have a car that has AC and all the amenities, so I don't really care for that too much. And it's like I said, it's kind of like a personal just taste of mine. Pausing on the updates on the FD, I just want to focus real quick right now, just because I'm with the car. and an alignment and how it looks and like how the rubbing is and everything. Driving it around for a few days and just my thoughts and opinions on it. So like I mentioned in the last video, I was gonna get an alignment. I finally did. The result is being more camber in the front and a lot more in the rear. I do not have the spec sheets right now. I will show you guys when I get home, but I mean, it looks really good. And I will talk about functionality in a bit here, but just talking about looks, it looks pretty darn good. Like, I really like the stance of it. Very close to how it was even before like I lined it. But unfortunately, I think it's time for coilover, guys. So a lot more camber, as you guys can tell, in the rear. It's supposed to be even for both the passenger side and the driver side. Now, the only thing that I'm kind of skeptical on is whether it's even, and this is the reason I have that like thought. So when I'm sitting in the driver's side and when I'm driving on medium-sized bumps, it will rub in the driver rear. So the only thing that I'm confused on is why only the driver rear is rubbing. I'm only thinking because like I'm sitting on that side of the car, so perhaps that's why it's rubbing. But even when I had a passenger sit in the passenger side, still only the driver's side would rub and not the passenger side at all for like the rear. So I was really confused as to why like that's the issue. And I even looked at the spec sheet and, you know, it's 99% pretty like even all around as far as camber, toe, and all that stuff. So I'm not really too sure as to why that's happening. As far as height goes, I really do think I need to get coilovers. So I will show you guys why. Okay, so apparently this is a very common MX-5 ND thing. The front sits a little bit higher than the rear. Like if you guys could tell, like here, I can even stick my finger in here. Like there's two finger gaps here for the front. And for the rear, it's like I can't even budge 2 fingers at all. Maybe a finger or a finger and a half. And it's not really because like I'm on a slope or anything. This is pretty flat. So like I said, apparently it's a very common MX-5 ND Miata thing for the rears to sit lower than the fronts. And now I know Öhlins and Socket Bomb, they made a kit where there's a long stroke kit for the rear instead of the front. So I don't exactly know why that's the case, but I think it's time to do coilovers and to make the height of the car even all around. So what I mean by that is pretty much having 2 finger gaps also for the rear, not just the front. As far as camber goes, I might have to get adjustable camber arms just so I can camber in a little bit more so I don't have to rub. But otherwise, like driving normally on like roads like this or like soft-ish bumps, like it won't rub. The only time, like I mentioned, it won't rub was in the driver rear, and surprisingly right in the fender liner. So you see how it's really dark in there, like that little black spot that is all like, you know, rubbed in, and everywhere else is like, you know, like kind of like a light-ish gray color. Yeah, so that's rubbing. I don't personally care too much about it. It's just funny because like when I'm driving or like pulling up to me or whatever, it'll sound really bad. It'll sound like it'll straight up sound like a rubbing sound, but just at a lower speed. So my only solution was to kind of cut out a little bit of the fender liner. So like I said, it's a little bit hard to see here, but I did cut like a little U-shaped part on the fender liner because it's double layered. And it did help, but I think I have to cut a little bit more inside. And another funny thing is, if I'm turning the wheel all the way to the left, so causing, you know, this side of the wheel to like go towards the fender liner, then it will rub. If I do the other direction, if I turn to the right, having this tire go in, it doesn't really rub. So like I can even show you guys, like there's not really like that dark black spot that you guys saw on the other side of the fender liner. Like it's not as intense and noticeable as it is on this side. So it just leads me to believe that I think it's time for coils. It's time for, you know, sway bars and camber arm adjustments. And I think that'll just really set an even distribution for alignment like all around. Otherwise, I really like the look of the poke. It's pretty aggressive, pretty meaty, actually pretty insane. It almost looks like an off-road build for a Miata. But I think I like the rear fitment a little bit more. Alright guys, well that's pretty much it for updates on this car. The only update I want to say for the FC is I'm gonna finally be ordering the 8.8 diff and get the custom axles and drive shaft and the bracket made for the FC. And what that means is that I'm gonna be able to handle at least 1,000 horsepower on the FC, and it's really needed because right now the NA axles and drive shafts is gonna immediately snap. So the way I have it set up right now is just I'm gonna have to visit like the auto shop very often to get axles and stuff, and I'm not really about that. I'm just more of like trying to save money in the long term by spending a lot right now, if that makes sense. Anyways, I'm gonna drop the order for that next week, put in some wheels and tires for that car, get the whole issue with the hydro brake situated for that car because it did have a pressure issue. I don't know if you guys remember that. I tried pumping it many times and it just wouldn't build pressure. A lot of my friends are saying maybe it's just there's air in the line, even after bleeding it for about like 4 hours. So I'm not really sure. I messaged Chase Base on that and they just recommend to keep bleeding it. If not, then they'll send me a new hydro brake in case the one that they gave me is already like faulty or anything. Otherwise guys, that's pretty much it for all the updates of all 3 cars. Last thing for the FD is literally just waiting on the kit. So again, I'm not gonna say what kit it is, and I'm just really excited because once it comes in, you know, hopefully before Weekfest San Jose and 7 Stock in Fontana, it's gonna be a huge reveal and surprise for what the car will be. Otherwise guys, that's pretty much it. I will catch you guys later and I will keep you guys updated as always. See ya.